friendly ChatGPT research. And then Friendster's MySpace entered the market around 2002, 2003. Then we had the major platforms. We all know about Facebook. It's been around for 20 years, right? We had Twitter, 2006, which popularized microblogging. Then we have evolvement into Instagram, 2010, which for all of us in beauty, I feel like it's a must platform. If you don't exist on Instagram, you kind of don't exist, right? You can have a website. It used to be the window to the world, but now the social proof it's huge. And then how many platforms, do we have right now, if you guys were to guess? Social media platforms.
I would say there are 4 main ones.
Right. There's 35 of them, apparently, to some kind of a ranking. And only, Asia Pacific region is leading the way, but there's apparently 35 platforms for different demographics and different interest groups as well. But the most popular one is Suzan. You the original.
I'm gonna say YouTube.
Yes, YouTube. Yeah, 3.9 billion active users, followed by Facebook. 2.1, so almost half of the YouTube users. So just some food for thought before we kick it off. But I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, guys, a little bit. Even though I feel like you don't need any introduction, but let's start with you, Suzan.
My name is Suzan. I am the founder of Naturium skincare brand. We sell at all Ulta doors, all Target doors, and in other countries as well. I'm like an OG on social media. I started off as a beauty editor, but I was lucky enough to be in the day of the internet, when media companies suddenly were like, wait, we need to start moving on over. And at the time it was embarrassing, but now it's really worked in my favor because I was able to start my own YouTube channel, really start skincare education and education on cosmetic treatments and bring on experts to talk about it. And it really kind of paved the way for my skincare brand. So I've been doing this for a really long time. I've worked with a lot of brands. I've worked with a lot of professionals, and it's been fun.
Thank you for joining us. I've been following you for years, so it's like a pinch me moment to actually meet you. We've met before, but...
You know what's funny is lately people, like when we entertain influencers for events, now they come up to me and say, I've been watching you since I was a child. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's good. Makes me feel a little old.
Right, but you definitely have the authority on YouTube, so thank you for sharing your perspective. Dr. Mamina.
Thank you, and you've been such a huge source of inspiration, so it's amazing that we're sharing this stage together. So my name is Mamina kind of like oregano, and I'm a board certified dermatologist. I'm actually triple board certified. I'm also certified in internal medicine and dermatopathology because I'm kind of crazy. I have a huge interest in integrative dermatology, holistic dermatology, and I have a certificate. It's not like a formal board certification, but it's a certificate in integrative dermatology. But it's been my passion since I was in college, and incorporate that into my practice with patients. So also really looking at skin health from within. I'm a co-founder of a brand called Beauty Core, and it's a probiotic that helps skin health. And I am very active on social media, and I just think it's a great way to share education, debunk a lot of the misinformation that's out there, and to just share my passion. My goal is to also shift the way other doctors, other dermatologists approach health, because right now I think a lot of conventional medicine is very prescription focused, and like, you have a disease, here's a pill, and it's like, no, we need deeper healing. And so just kind of expanding the minds of conventional doctors to expand how they practice.
I love the holistic medicine approach, and we all need supplements, so that's amazing. And you have a book coming out, right?
Yes, I just had a book released, thank you, on April 1st. It's called...
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's the Holistic Psoriasis Management and Nutrition Guide. And as derms, we're with patients for such a limited amount of time. It's so hard for us to go into all the counseling of like foods that can make psoriasis worse, or other lifestyle factors like stress, or how to relieve stress, or other like alternative medicines or supplements that can help with psoriasis. So it's just a good resource for not only patients, but for also dermatologists to be able to recommend to patients too.
Thank you. And Rachel.
I am like the least impressive person on this stage. These two, I'm like fangirling myself. I'm like bowing down. So I'm so excited. I don't know why I'm up here, but I am the founder and CEO of Glowbar. Glowbar is the world's largest facial membership. We pioneered the 30-minute facial. So we love working with derms and other skincare brands as well. We play really nicely in the sandbox there because we really are your maintenance facial every single month. I am a third-generation esthetician myself, third-generation entrepreneur. My grandmother pioneered the first aesthetic school in the country, so this is like in my blood, in my bones. And I'm like a micro-influencer, so I play around on social and a few people follow me and it's a good time, but I'm like always looking to you guys and I don't know how you get yourself on camera all day, I'm too tired to do that, but not even too tired, just I don't even know where to start, but I'm really excited to chat about this and Glowbar has like a great engaged following, so happy to chat.
And that's why you are here, to share the pearls. What works for Glowbar works for you. And we love micro-influencers because of the conversion rate and, you know,
You're very engaged.
Yes. Great. So as you can see, we have an amazing perspectives we're going to be sharing from Suzan Yara as a brand founder, but also as the original influencer, capitalizing the power of YouTube. We have Dr. Mamina, the board-certified dermatologist, brand founder as well, with a huge practice. And then we have Rachel, the founder of Glowbar, which is, you know, you've heard of her, an amazingly and growing multi-chain locations right now, right? You were actually scheduled to be on my panel last year, but you were opening up a place in Boston, so we missed each other, but I'm so happy to have you here. So, amazing perspectives. Now, Dr. Mamina, I wanted to start with you. I think we all heard the definition of derm influencer. What does it mean for you? Are you considering yourself one?
I think, yeah, the term derm influencer is probably pretty self-explanatory, but yes, I'll share my perspective. So typically it's a dermatologist, ideally a board-certified dermatologist, who creates content that, you know, we think of people, you know, when we think of influencer, they're like, they know how to persuade you to buy certain products or whatnot, but I like to think of derm influencers as having the ability to shift people's way of thinking on how to take care of your skin and really providing educational content. For example, I think, gosh, since like 2020, there's been this huge shift on wearing sunscreen. A lot of people thought sunscreen was what you just wore to the beach and it was like annoying and just disgusting to use, but now people are realizing, wait, this is something that I can easily incorporate. There's so many great formulations out there. This is something I can easily incorporate into my everyday routine, and people are understanding that that's important. And a lot of young people are, which is huge. And I think a lot of that has to do with derm influencers.
That's wonderful. And we know there are so many social media channels. Which ones are you on, and I guess which ones do you devote the most time into, and why?
Let's see, so I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also recently launched a podcast. It's called Skin Deep and Unfiltered. Launched that about 3 weeks ago. So pretty new, with 2 other board-certified dermatologists, Dr. Lindsay Zabritsky and Dr. Jenny Liu. And I would say that I have the most followers on TikTok, but I am the most active on Instagram. I love how it's so easy to be able to engage with people on Instagram. There's the whole stories thing, so people can see what's going on in real time. And then there's just like more of a community-driven aspect to Instagram. So I'd say I was probably most active on Instagram.
Okay, that's wonderful. How about YouTube? Is it on your radar?
YouTube, yes. So I do have a YouTube channel. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm so in awe of Susan. But I do think that YouTube is important for people who are professionals, who have a lot of education to give, because right now I think short form content, like a lot of people are touting themselves as experts and they're able to just provide like these snippets of information. So I think that the trend, I don't know, this might be a different question, but I think that having more experts on YouTube, being able to do like deeper dives, is going to be important. So I am putting more effort into YouTube.
And I'm guessing different target audience, different demographics you're trying to target as well, right?
Yes, so it's yeah, balancing, because it's completely different in terms of how I'm filming content. The short form content is different. I was trying to try to get away with doing YouTube videos and trying to create short form content, but it's not that simple. it's really two different types of content.
Mediums, yes.
Yeah, two different kind of mediums. So it is a lot of work. If you want to like thrive in both types of platforms, short form and long form, you really need to do separate, I think, like long form content and then have your own kind of different style of short form.
Yeah, wonderful. When I was working for Big Beauty, we had this core principle, and core stand for create once and repurpose everywhere. Do you guys agree with that? Or do you think you still need a very customized content for each and every single platform?
I mean, I can answer that. I think that we always call it social media bombing. And I do it sometimes because, sometimes you just don't have the time.
Yeah.
But it's taking one piece of content and posting it on all of your channels at once. So people who follow you on each of these channels will see it, and it kind of annoys them, right? Because they're like, I already saw this when I was following you on Instagram. So it doesn't give them a reason to follow you on other different channels. And I'll add to the whole YouTube thing. As a brand owner, it's amazing to have dermatologists and other experts with true authority on social media. We love seeing it. I talk to derms all the time, and they're always like, I don't really want to do social media because it's so saturated. It's not. It's not. I actually think that there is room for more experts online, especially on YouTube. And funny enough, Mamina and I ran into each other just like randomly in Mexico last year, and so we had dinner.
Mexico.
We were chatting about this. We were just on vacation, and we were talking about the difference between short-form social media like TikTok and Reels on Instagram and YouTube. And what the difference is that on YouTube you're building a true community, right? Like I have 1.5 million followers on YouTube. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's not massive compared to like somebody on TikTok who has 8 million followers, right?
I have 1 or 0.
But the big difference is I've built a community over the years, right? People who have truly understood and feel like they're part of something. Whereas on TikTok especially, they might not even know your name, right? They just know you as like, oh, that person that talks about X, Y, and Z. So you really have to figure out what it is that you're trying to accomplish with social media and why you're on it.
No, that's amazing perspective. And I guess what techniques have you found most effective to engage and foster like authenticity with your audiences, Susan, especially when it comes to the brand founder, but also as a beauty expert, because I feel like you wear many hats on social media. You don't necessarily just promote Naturium, but you also talk about your experience and journey with beauty and skincare. And you also review other brands, so.
Yeah. You know what, when we were starting Naturium, it was a really important piece that I would continue doing what I've always done on social media, and that's talking about other brands, because that's how you educate. And the typical consumer doesn't just buy one brand anymore. We used to have people like that, and there still are. Don't get me wrong, people who are so loyal, those are like the dream customer, right? Who like stock up on your brand, buy a bunch of it, and only use your brand, but people don't shop like that anymore. So to give true education, to have people actually want to follow you, you can't just have one big ad every single day on social media. So you have to keep a variety, and you do have to, being authentic doesn't mean that you have to share your entire life, but you definitely need to give a perspective that feels like it's not just selling to them.
And how do you use social media to actually educate, the consumers of your brand? Because Naturium is quite, it's quite innovative. You do have the Derm beauty accepted ingredients, so I'm sure there's some educational component as well.
I mean, everything about my content I feel like is educational. It's I think what I pride myself on is making sure that it's educational, but in a way that is really easy for people to understand. When I started skincare reaction videos years ago, I feel like that was kind of this unlock for people where they were like, oh my gosh, this is so easy to understand when you see what people are doing wrong or what they could be doing better with their skincare routines. And then, it went from there. There's a brand called The Ordinary, for instance, that really was ingredient-led. And I feel like that also was an unlock for a lot of consumers where they were like, oh, wait, I can start to understand what ingredients are actually doing for me as well. So I feel like once, now that we have this kind of education going, it's really important to keep that going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to add too, the education piece I think is so important for like gaining that trust. And I think the mentality that I had that really helped me is to give, to educate without expecting anything in return. And then your audience can see that and they feel like, wow, I'm getting so much from this person, and then you gain that trust.
No, that's amazing. And Rachel, you don't have a skincare line, but a little bird told me that it's coming, right? For Global, there will be.
It makes sense.
It really makes sense. So the question for you is maybe not perhaps about the brand as a skincare, but brand as a glow, Global. How do you turn the social media followers into like tangible business results when it comes to increasing sales or funneling traffic to the door and attracting maybe membership subscription, your currency?
Yeah, so Glowbar is a skincare services business. We are not a CPG brand. And so our number one KPI is membership and appointment count. So I need people to see us on social media and come book an appointment on our website and then drag their butts to our studio to get their 30-minute facial.
And it's super affordable for any of you guys that
Thank
haven't
you.
given
You're
it a
my
try.
new PR agency. Yes, it's $65. So it's a pretty easy call it sell once you capture them. Our challenge continues to just be that social media is worldwide, which is the beauty. That's why you have 1.5 million followers on YouTube. Like anyone can follow you. They don't need to live near you. Glowbar is in communities and in certain markets. So we're only in 6 states today. So social has been interesting because we want to boost that awareness, right? I want 500,000, 1 million followers on Instagram, but really, if they're not going to come into my studios, I don't need them yet. And I don't mean to suggest that I don't want more followers, but we really care about conversion. So we do some ads and we do target certain markets that we're in because it's the only way to get the results that we're really looking for. But we use social as an awareness play, and now that we're getting into our own product line, it will be even more. But we haven't focused on Instagram follower growth. We've really focused on engagement. I think now that we're going to be nationwide, worldwide, we will start to really focus on how many people are seeing Glowbar every single day on social.
That's amazing. And I'll have a follow-up questions about your marketing budget and maybe social media budget. I don't know if you want to share anything of that nature.
Yeah, so I think this is coming from this morning. I hosted a breakfast and we got into talking about Glowbar's marketing budget. So last year we got a little bit inflated on digital, and I'm sure we can all talk for hours about that. That's not the purpose of this, but we didn't spend any money until year 4 on marketing. So I had a marketing budget of $0 until a year and a half ago. Last year we decided to find all these reasons to spend on Meta and give Meta and Google all this money that they don't need. And we did, and the results actually weren't that impressive. And so what we're looking at now is, do we actually spend more on social media to gain that awareness and get that conversion? Should we actually invest in influencers? We don't right now pay influencers. We'll let anyone come, so you can DM me and I'll let you have a facial. Literally, that's how it works at times. But should we find an influencer that's really gonna have a great conversion rate in a local community that we're in, and spend more there and take some of those digital dollars and put them towards people who, like these two, who can really establish trust and credibility for Glowbar and get that foot traffic to our studios. So it's something we're considering.
Right, the foot traffic is everything. And to piggyback on a question, Dr. Mamina, I'm sure that having social media present also benefits your practice. I know you have your professional account, you have your beauty brand account as well, you have your practice account, but are there any effective strategies that you think are working for converting the followers to come to your practice as a patient?
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't even, actually, I'm trying to think of, when I first started social media, that was actually my intention. Back in 2016 was when I created my Dr. Mamina account. I had just moved back to New Orleans, and actually it's pretty saturated with derms there, so I wanted to kind of stand apart as more like the holistic dermatologist and started my Instagram account. And I did get a lot of patients through that, and then when things just boomed, my following grew a lot during the whole pandemic era, and I got a lot more patients through that. I'm actually not even taking new patients anymore, but my practice, I have 2 other derms, so they're taking a lot of the new patients.
Is there a wait list?
There's a wait list for my current patients, so.
Sounds like an Irma's situation of a Breaking Bad.
But yeah, now my intention is really just to provide education, and like I said, my goal is to also kind of help shift the mindsets of other doctors. But yes, it's a great tool for other derms to really bring in more patients, or like estheticians, or anyone to bring in more more clients to their practice.
I'll add to that. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on social media budget for marketing, so most of that actually goes to Amazon. I think a lot of people don't think about this. Amazon is a very big marketing tool, and it relies on search, basically, so like SEO. So it's kind of like a search engine in a lot of ways, and people don't think about this, and you're competing with other brands. So you'll see when you type in a search, right, for a product or some type of, either a specific brand or a specific type of product, right, on Amazon, you'll see what comes up to the top, and sometimes it's an ad or sometimes it's not, but there's a lot of ways to get your ranking up, and it's really important to spend money on Amazon. When it comes to targeting, that's also really important for us. Like if we know that we are going to be launching in the UK market, we are specifically going to find content creators, not necessarily big ones. We love the teeny tiny influencers. Maybe they're not even influencers, maybe they're just a real person who loved the product, and then we will spark their ads, which is whitelisting it basically on TikTok. Sorry. And we'll spend a lot of money on that kind of stuff because it's really important to get that awareness. What we find is that most people don't convert anymore, right? It's such a saturated industry at this point, and people don't necessarily have the same spending habits when it comes to social media. Sorry, my allergies decided the last 2 days. It's like
Water.
On. Anyway, but you know, I think that you have to really consider, you have to be really thoughtful about how you're spending those dollars. So a lot of the time we do an exercise where we're looking at, okay, we spent this amount of money on social media. What was the conversion just overall? What kind of sales did we see? And it's not just sales on our D2C, it's sales at our retailers. Our sales looking like they're going up. And so we try to measure that out and figure out our spending accordingly. So in the beginning, you're just doing a lot of testing, right? And we still test all the time, but you really do start to find where you get the most benefit from spending your marketing budget.
Test and optimize, right? That's the name of the game.
Can I just add one thing? I love what you just said about not even finding influencers. So that's actually been our strategy. And we do this on like a kind of small scale, but when I was going to Philly, for example, like when we were opening the Philly market last year, we actually didn't target influencers. We targeted like the head of the PTA group and the like local coffee shop owner. And people like that are just living their lives, but actually people of influence. And I think that was a real unlock and a real like distinction for us. Obviously our business is quite different, right? I need foot traffic, but like that mom of the PTA group, you guys, is my most valuable human in Philadelphia because she has the captive audience of exactly our demo.
She's an influencer within her
She
group.
is,
Yeah.
but she doesn't have an Instagram really. But she drives so many redemptions of her code that like we gave her, like I think she just texts it to these women or like writes it down on a post-it at the PTA moms group or puts it up on like the screen. I don't even know how she gets it out there. But it's a really, I think it's a really beautiful thing of like targeting people that are living in the area that you need them to go to and having them be your influencer like chain.
Moms are powerful. I'm on so
Oh my
many
God.
WhatsApp, Facebook groups.
Yeah, the
for my
Facebook
kid.
groups?
It's on
Upper East Side
steroids.
Moms is like insane in Manhattan. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Susan, thank you for throwing in the Amazon because I don't think it's on anybody's radar, but I feel like all of these platforms are copying what works on other ones, and now you can see, live Amazon selling. Like you said, the Google search of the world, it's Amazon. If you're not ranked there, you have to pay to play, obviously. But it's an amazing insight, so thank you for that. And also for talking about the user-generated content. Rachel, I'm guessing user-generated content is also important to you. Is it part of your strategy? Because we touched on it gently.
It's the most important, actually. So Glowbar, 60% of our revenue comes from word of mouth. So the second that you come into Glowbar and go on your Instagram, if you have 100 followers, if you have 100,000 followers, that UGC for us is the most valuable. We also can whitelist it. Like we can DM them, and by the way, none of this is that formal for us.
It's not formal for us either.
It's like you DM them
We're
and
part
you're
of
like,
a publicly traded company, and it's not formal. We
right.
DM them.
You DM them and you just say, hey, like love this, you crushed it, and your skin is glowing. Can I like use that? And just by them saying yes, you're like, great, done, it's gonna be boosted, and you move along with your day. We have people sign things now a little bit because we've gotten a little formalized in that respect for legal.
We pay them. We pay them a fee
Right.
also.
We don't pay. but we should.
You're not there yet. You're not there yet. It's expected of us.
Yes, and I hope to be in that position one day. But for now, user-generated, that's where I get the credibility and the trust, and then the word of mouth. So we were talking earlier at the breakfast, when women in particular, which is our demo, and probably the majority of this conference is demo, right? That's your target market, women. And when they go to brunch or dinner with friends and their skin looks good, they are gonna book an appointment or buy the product on Amazon while they're sitting at that brunch or dinner. And so for me, that moment is like so important, and oftentimes it translates to social media.
It is so true. I was at the CEW Beauty Luncheon, surrounded by beauty editors. We get swag back on a daily basis. And yeah, the InStyle magazine editor is asking me what I'm using on my skin. And I'm like, are you for real?
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't
Your
know.
skin is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Topical skin. Dr. Mamina, I have a question for you, because obviously we were talking about UGC, but I guess how do you approach social media content creation? Because it must be a little bit different for you. I don't know if there's any wow factor, any kind of a secret sauce that you can share, especially as a dermatologist, because I feel like you are capturing similar audience, but you speak different language. In essence, it's different voice, different tone.
Yeah, in terms of just the usual stuff, you know, people have such short attention spans, so finding that hook to catch people in those first 3 seconds. Technical things like making sure lighting is good, sound is there. A lot of doctors don't even think about that, and they have so much knowledge to share, and I'm like, I can't keep watching this. So just even like little technical things to just make sure you have that under your belt. And then, you know, finding topics that are relevant, frequently asked questions that I get all the time from my patients, that I get all the time in my comments and in my DMs. And then like trending topics, sometimes like I'll go down like Reddit rabbit holes to see what people are talking about too. And then making sure that it is like accurate, because people do trust, you know, experts. And so sometimes I will do research, I will look up certain papers and reference papers too, to really add to the, I guess, the accuracy of the information. So yeah, combination of all that.
Yeah, I have to say I love your commentary. Whenever there is some kind of a trending topics and you want to debunk some myths, or maybe just, you know, confirm the validation, I love when you do the commentary, because it's coming from authority, and it comes with like you simplifying the science because it's very technical, but you do it in layman's terms that, you know, a 5-year-old can understand. I mean, hopefully. So great.
I'll throw out there though, I think experts like Dr. Mamina on social media also give more of a lighter side to their industry too. Like I was just laughing at your post where she was like, you know, there was the person who was mean to me in high school just asked me like for some skincare advice, so I told her to use beef tallow. Like that's hilarious, right? Like that's so petty and hilarious. Yeah, I love it. So it's like just lightening it up, right, and making it more relatable too.
Very nice. Suzan, I have a question for you. How do you stay relevant, like ahead of platform technology changes, so your content remains relevant and you kind of stay ahead of, you know, competition? I feel like you're on top of the game, so questions for you.
You know, we have something that is really amazing with social media, and this is the thing that people overlook a lot, and that is analytics. Again, when we were in Mexico, we sat there. I made Mamina pull up her analytics for me. I was like, let's look at your analytics. It's going to tell you so much about what's happening with your social media, right? Like I don't try to change my content according to algorithm changes per se, but you can see what's working, what's not working. You can see who your demographic is. You can see how long they're watching. There's just so many different things that you can take from your analytics, and it's so important to make sure that you're looking at that.
Rachel, you're nodding your head. I'm sure you're measuring some kind of metrics. What are they when it comes to
Actually, we like over-indexed last year. We figured out like what our meme, we had like these memes go viral, and like for us viral is like nothing compared to what you guys do, but we had like 40,000 likes and like 20,000 shares on like these memes. Super cool. It was really exciting, and I was so proud of my social team, my marketing team, and by the way, team is like a very big overstatement, one person, but I was really proud of them for figuring out what worked. And then we over-indexed because we got so addicted to the engagement and the likes and the shares. And so you ask about like analytics, like we use it, but I actually have directed them to go against the analytics recently. So like would so welcome your opinions. Like I was like, I don't want as a brand for us to show up that way, because we were looking like a meme account. And I was like, that feels...
You're still using the analytics though. right? Like you can see that those analytics are not getting you what you need though,
No,
right?
they're still working, and I
It's-
like put the
it's-
kibosh on them.
Okay, it's working in getting conversion.
No, but engagement and awareness and like sharing. Like we're gaining followers. And so I was like, but it doesn't represent our brand. And so we're actually in this like battle of like, do we go against our brand and like kind of veer away from it on Instagram? Because if you look at Globar's Instagram, which I hope you all will, I didn't think it was looking like the Globar brand. And so I was like, guys, we need a little brand infused. So now we're doing a meme every like 5 posts or
I
something.
think that's important. The way your brand shows up, it used to be a website. Websites really don't matter unless people actually have to go buy something or make an appointment on it. But your Instagram is your website these days, right? So it makes a difference. It definitely matters.
Right, and so it was really important for us to know the data, of course. Like now we're private equity backed. We like raised our Series A 2 years ago and became like an analytics company. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, okay, enough with the freaking numbers here. Like let's go with our intuition. But we're kind of going against the data right now just to like maintain brand. And now we'll have to figure out what the data tells us of doing our brand better is working, and then we'll like lean into that.
I think us women founders, we go with our gut feeling a lot.
Always.
We test what works and optimize what works, and then that's why.
That's why AI hasn't completely taken over.
Right. Can't replace a woman.
Although I do appreciate AI. Speaking of AI, would you guys ever hire an AI influencer? Because they do exist. And I know I didn't prepare you for this question, but
I have no idea what that is.
I wouldn't, not right now. I
Base
think
Beauty
they're-
Creative Agency
yeah.
can answer.
I personally would not. I think there's going to be a lot of, it's the Wild West right now, right? But I think there's going to be a lot of moral and ethical issues that start to come up as this becomes more and more popular. It's massive in Asia already. But I think here, you know, like we just saw is that H&M is actually paying models to just replicate them for AI. So they're getting paid, but then they're getting them to say things or act in a way that they don't have to train them to do it. They don't have to show up. But then we're losing industries for a lot of people. The photographers don't get their job, the makeup artists don't get the job, their hairstylists don't get the job, the stylist doesn't get the job because they don't need all of these people. And you're utilizing people in the wrong way, and I think there will be things that come up. So
Yeah, I know it's
As of
happening.
now, no.
It's happening in Hollywood too. We see the actresses being scanned, and I guess they're gonna have more roles, but they don't need even the live actor or actress.
there's literally a
It's-
Black Mirror episode about
It's
this.
happening. Yeah.
I think what you're getting at though is like, can anything replace authenticity on social? And for me, like as a very small influencer that like is an accidental influencer, nothing can replace me being authentically myself. Like you couldn't create an AI character of me because I'm absolutely ridiculous. And I think that's why people love to follow me, because they're like, whoa, Rachel's really real and is talking about her Prozac like exploding in her bag yesterday, and also her skincare routine. And like you can't find an AI person to have that like quality about themselves
Personality.
and personality and like humor. I don't think. Maybe in the future. Right now I just don't believe it's gonna be authentic.
There's only one Rachel, one Dr. Mamina, one Suzan.
But seriously, I think that's like a really interesting thing that we're kind of all asking ourselves is like, can we be recreated by like an AI like robot or whatever they call it? Like, I don't think the answer is yes. I don't want to see that in my lifetime.
It's creepy, totally creepy.
But there is rise of, obviously AI tools. Are you implementing any tools to help with your social media? We heard from Base Beauty Creative Agency, they utilize AI to enhance beautiful imagery, to utilize it for, social media content, but then also for retail advertisements. Are there any tools that you use that are AI enhanced for social media?
As a skincare brand, I think it would be, again, morally and ethically wrong to use enhancements just in general, but when it comes to AI, using it in the sense of like maybe answering a question that you get from a DM, or there is like videography that's fun that has nothing to do, like the trend in social media right now is to have just like chaotic, weird imagery and everything on your social media. Like I don't know if you guys saw the one for Sephora, the Sephora savings event that's coming up. Their Instagram ad was so weird. It was like 2 cartoon ducks or something, talking about the sale coming up, right? So this is kind of a trend that's coming, and I think that we'll see AI generated stuff like that when it comes again back to like actual human beings and replicating human beings and their skin or enhancing their skin. I think that would be really strange of a brand to do. But I think using it to just assist in ways, like with customer service, is totally fine.
It's totally fine. And disruption is, and newness is always sells. And I feel like with AI, some brands will kind of pull in, just to the advantage. But long term, no, it's a no-go. Okay, great. Dr. Mamina, how do you, approach social listening to either help shape your strategy for the future when it comes to social media, or to help make improvements?
Yeah, I am really trying to pay close attention to, like I said, what people's feedback, comments, DMs, and also I think it helps to be a consumer of social media, to consume it, to know like also what to talk about and learn all the trending topics and whatnot. But I thankfully am very lucky. I do have a team to also consume social media on my behalf as well. And but I do think that that's important. And then also just in terms of feedback, there's even features like with Instagram, like getting polls. Like I find that to be super helpful, just doing polls on my stories and getting input from my audience that way.
Wonderful. And then can you share examples of how you have used social media to address challenges or crises in a business? Did it ever happen? I'm sure there's some moments as a founder where you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I have to put down the fire. Perhaps you're using social media to offset the fire.
For us, COVID was a fire. We had one studio open, and 6 months into the business, we shut down our doors for 7 months. And thank God for our following, because we launched a GoFundMe for our 20 estheticians that I had to furlough. I didn't know that term. And I was like, they're gonna be out of a job. Like, how can we reach more people to support them? And so social media, like during COVID, was our saving grace for our estheticians, that are our livelihood and everything I live for. And also our business. I sold $40,000 a month on retail through doing like Instagram lives, just to stay afloat. And then that helped us just generate some revenue during COVID. So I think like social is just another channel for you to reach your audience that can help you in times of need. I luckily have not had like a communication crisis yet, but if I do, I will need a lot of help there.
I always tell people, when you actually start to get canceled on social media, you've made it, right? Like when you have these big crises happening. I've been on social media for like almost 12 years at this point, and I've been canceled several times. And I think the thing that you learn is that social media, as great as it can be, and hopefully we never go through something that's like the pandemic again, where we just all rely on it for just anything, entertainment, for buying stuff, for all of that, right? What I've found is that you have to be really careful with social media. It can be great to be like this megaphone for your brand, but it's also like you're navigating landmines, right? Like you have to be careful, because everything that you post, everything that you say can be used in a totally different way or perceived differently. So you just have to be really careful. So we keep things pretty straightforward, and we try not to use our social media as a way to communicate, because you just got to keep it real simple if you do.
Do you all keep this consistent voice on different media platforms, social media platforms, or do you change maybe the way you present on YouTube versus Instagram versus TikTok? Or is it the same, Dr. Mamina?
A little bit of this. I know it's so hard because time is so limited. So I end up like, I think the term you used was like social bombing. I use a lot of the same content on YouTube Shorts as I do on Instagram and TikTok. And it's interesting because you could see something succeeding more on Instagram versus TikTok. So it's to me, it is a lot of work, but ideally you would want to create separate pieces of content. But my big thing is like long form versus short form, because I think that those are definitely very distinctly different types of platforms.
Yeah, I think we don't I don't use, or Glowbar doesn't use a different voice, but we do like tweak what we post and like the content. So like TikTok, we love doing like behind the scenes of The Office. Like people love that. They're so nosy. They want to see like my desk like looking messy. But on Instagram, it doesn't always perform as well. And so like I guess there is a change of voice, right? Because it's like someone in the office just going into like a room being like, oh my God, look at this like hot mess. Like that's actually what the Glow Bar office looks like. On Instagram, it's like, let us tell you about our 30-minute facials, and we do dermaplaning, and like it's a little more formal for us. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it's kind of working for us.
Again, it goes back to Instagram is like your website now, right? It's your business card. TikTok is a little bit more casual. Like, you know, we have two different kinds of social, right? There's my personal social media, and then there's the Naturium social media. I show up completely different on each of my social media channels versus how the brand shows up, right, on the channels. On TikTok, we're a lot more casual. We're reposting and using a lot of user-generated content. On Instagram, we keep it really pretty because it's our website and our calling card, right? And then on YouTube, again, long-form educational, right? But on my TikTok, I talk about being divorced. I talk about my kids a little bit more. I show things with like, you know, things that are a little bit more casual. On Instagram, I keep it more straightforward. On YouTube, you get a little mix of both of that, right? So I think that you have to really take that into account.
That's amazing. There's so much wisdom on this stage. We can be talking forever, but we are out of time. Maybe just quickly, are there any key pearls you want to share with us? Any, you know, trends that you see coming in the future? Anything that you should, you know, the audience can benefit from your wisdom?
I think for me, like what I see as like where we are right now in the world and where we're going is like authenticity, and like authenticity of who you are. Like don't try to be like another brand. And like we're kind of taking like a chaotic, unhinged approach to social right now. I will tell you, I just parted ways with our old social person, brought on someone new, and I literally have told her, I'm like, go wild. Post all day long until we get canceled, literally.
We're going wild.
Then you might like watch out, like follow us, because it might be kind of funny and you might catch something bad. But like I think just really like kind of not thinking about it too much is the way of the world right now in the next like 8
just
months.
do it, right?
Yeah.
Don't over.
Yeah, just post.
Yeah, I completely agree with just being authentic, transparent. People want to see the real you, and sometimes I just have I still have a hard time like showing my face without makeup, but people want to see real skin. They want to see behind the scenes. Yeah, I think that, and you know, sometimes I'm like, am I going to lose followers? And I try not to think like that, because you want the people who appreciate the real you. You want those people in your community. And yeah, with brands and whatnot, you also get loyal, you know, followers and customers with that too.
I think live shopping is going to be really important, and I think that if you haven't tapped into live shopping, whether it's on Amazon, on TikTok, probably on Instagram, probably on Facebook eventually, any of these, right? I think that that's going to be really important. Again, I look to Asia for a lot of the trends and what happens in social media. I think sometimes in America we forget that they're setting a lot of the tone. I mean, TikTok is from Asia. And so I think when you look at those trends and you start to see it happening here, they keep testing live shopping, and I think we're starting to really see it now on TikTok. So, and Amazon keeps pushing it because that's the way that they're gonna really, you know, stay above, you know, in front of all of the other online retailers. So I think that this is gonna be really important, being able to go live, being able to sell live, so.
Go live, but not HSN or QVC style. You don't have half an hour, you only have what, like 5-10 minutes.
I mean, if you can do hours,
but like, yeah, repeat the same message quickly, right? Consistency.
Hours.
Gosh, it's a marathon. Quickly, give me your handle so the audiences can follow you guys.
At Rachelista.
At dr.mamina, dr.mamina.
At Suzan Yara.
Wonderful. I don't know if we have any time for questions, but Emma, one question? Okay. Anybody? Dr. Yes, go. Dr. Mariana?
Brief question. At which point?
The mic is coming. Hold on.
Excellent. You know, recommendations for all of you on the panel. Really appreciate it, especially so late in the afternoon on Friday. So happy weekend. Brief question. At which point, if you're out on social media and you feel that, at which following the stage do you feel like it's the right time to bring in the management to help you assist with the growth aspect of social media? Is it the number of followers, or is it like, no?
I think
the matrix?
you know, I used to consult for a dermatologist years ago who was she wanted to be on social media, but she refused to show up herself, right? She refused to actually put herself on social media, learn social media. So I really think it's important for you to first get your hands on social media and learn it, the way Mamina was saying, that knowing what's happening out there and seeing it. Yeah, she has a team now, but I think you really have to know what's happening first before you can ever hire somebody, because it goes back to authenticity. If you're not doing it yourself, if you're not participating yourself, then it's not gonna work.
I think like knowing your brand's priorities, like if you're not gonna be the face of your brand on Instagram, like hire someone ASAP and have them be it and just make them the star. I mean, SoulCycle did this with their trainers, like their, what are they called? Coaches at SoulCycle, like those were the celebrities. It wasn't Julie and Elizabeth. It was like the trainers, and they like put them on a pedestal and made them the star of the business, and that worked beautifully for them. Like for Glow Bar, like I am the face of Glow Bar, and so I just keep at it. And I think like until I sell this business, and they'll probably even keep me on after, because like that, like you tie in a face with the brand, but I think you do have to do it. But if your brand doesn't need it, then you can hire someone right away.
And I know it's so hard being a dermatologist and a social media like content creator. It's so hard like balancing the two. So I'm just trying to think of where my tipping point was, and I think it was like when my sleep was getting compromised, like editing all my videos and like taking the time to post and doing all of that. And so that's when actually my sister was the first person to help me. So like finding just a person, she just helped me like find ideas, and she was helping me like edit some things. So just like starting with something pretty minimal. But yeah, if it's like starting to really interfere, I think that's I guess what I would recommend for like other people with multiple jobs, other derms, is if it's compromising your life.
Yeah, and if you don't have a millennial doing your social media, then you're doing something wrong. I'm sorry, but I don't know if you guys agree or disagree.
I don't know about that. I'm an elder millennial. I'm
an elder millennial too.
Wait. I'm gonna take a picture. You guys, I didn't realize it was gonna take me an hour and 30 minutes to go get my kids, so I'm gonna be late. So I'm gonna take a picture and I'm gonna run out of here, okay?
God.
So I just want to take a picture really quick. All right, that's social media.
Thank you